everyone. Welcome to the Dream.Us National Scholarship Q&A. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Sadhana Singh. I'm Senior Communications Manager with the Dream.Us, and I'm also a Dream.Us graduate myself. So I received this scholarship way back in 2014. And I was in the state of Georgia, and I relocated to Washington, D.C. to attend Trinity Washington University, where I earned my bachelor's degree in communication. So I'm very happy to be here with you all, spreading the good word about the scholarship that changes lives. And we're here to answer all of your questions and help you along completing the application. So right now I'll pass it over to my colleague, Gabby. We hope that you notice us because we're usually on the Instagram doing Instagram lives. So take it away, Gabby.
Thank you, Sadhana. We are so excited to be with all of you. Happy New Year. I know there's a debate of how much longer or how into the year do you continue to say it, but it's my favorite thing to do every year. And I'm probably going to say Happy New Year until maybe February. Or if I don't see you, I usually say it a couple of times. But Happy New Year to everyone. This is your year. This is the year where all of you have the opportunity to get your dreams and, like as it says right there, make your dreams of a college education come through and true. So the first thing we want to do is just level setting, get some information out, and you're here because you want your questions answered around the scholarships that we have. And so I want to go through really quickly the main points of what our two scholarships are. So we have two: the Opportunity Scholarship. And that one, the deadline is coming up. So at the end of this month, you need to make sure to fill out and have all your applications in. Now, this scholarship is open to individuals that live in 23 states. And if you are seeing right now on the screen, these are the states that you must live in and you must have graduated high school from in order to apply to this scholarship, or you're going to be graduating. Some of you are still in high school right now. So if you are from Alabama, Louisiana, Montana, Missouri, Wyoming, one of these states, you can apply to this scholarship. And this scholarship is really great because what it does is that it provides an up to $80,000, $20,000 per year. And this $20,000 actually gives you not only money to pay for your tuition and fees, but it's also money to pay for your room and board. And we have incredible partners. We have 5 institutions that we're really excited that have been part of the Dream.Us now for years. One of them has been an original partner college, Trinity Washington University. And we want you to mark your calendars right now. You will be receiving an email from us from this information. But on January 19th, we are going to have a fair where you're going to get to hear from each one of these institutions, and they're going to provide you information around what they have to offer you and why you should consider going to one of them. But right here, these are the 5: Christian Brothers University, which is in Tennessee. You have Delaware State University, which is in Delaware, Dominican University, which is in Illinois, and then Eastern Connecticut State University, which is in Connecticut, and lastly, Trinity Washington University, which is in Washington, D.C. Now, Trinity is a special school that we have that it's only open to women. So make sure that if you are a male, that you are looking at the other institutions, because Trinity Washington University is only open to women. So those are the main key informations about the opportunity. Make sure that you are going through, and if you are obviously here is because you want to know and have your questions answered around that, but the website is going to have all that and we'll get to it. Now, the second scholarship that we have is the National Scholarship. And the National Scholarship is open to all other students that are not part of these 23 states. We are not, unfortunately, in California or Washington states. So if you are in states like Texas and Illinois and New York, New Jersey, Florida, Arizona, this is a scholarship for you. In this scholarship, what we have is over 80 colleges that are part of what we call our partner colleges. And we have agreements with these institutions that they are going to provide you an excellent education and an opportunity for you to make your dreams of a college education come true. And so you can go here and you can see, depending on the state that you live in, which institution you can apply to. So, for example, if you live in New York, you have many of the CUNYs. You also have some of the SUNY schools that are part of this program. And there are institutions that we've added. So make sure that if you've been following us for the last couple of years, that you go here and you look at the institutions that are there, because we have added quite a few new institutions. But you must be eligible for in-state tuition at any of these schools. And if you have any questions around that, the best thing to do is actually go to the institution and look at the information that they provide there. Many of you that live in these different states do have different policies and laws that say that you must have either graduated from a high school, have done 2 or 3 years of high school in those institutions. So make sure that you have that information and know that. But these are the institutions that you can apply to and use our scholarship there. And our scholarship for the national is an up to $39,000 for a bachelor's degree. And the way that it works is that that money is divided by 4 years, and you get to use that money to pay for your tuition and fees. Now, in many and most of our schools most of our scholars do receive a stipend that helps with your books and supplies and transportation, etc. So that's where the extra dollars is, and that's a $750 per semester that you get. And you'll find all this out once you become a scholar. You'll have a whole entire information session where we're going to share all that, but also the scholarship. So I'm going to now end that portion. And before we get to the questions, we have two polls that we want to share with you. We're curious and we really want to know what's working on our end to get the information out to you. So the first poll, Sadhana, is going to ask you, how did you hear about the Dream.Us? So please let us know how you heard about the Dream.Us. And it looks like right now, the counselors, teachers, and that's amazing to hear, because we put a lot of resources and we do a lot of work to try to get this information out to as many college counselors and teachers. It also looks like there's a tie almost for siblings and family members. Also, we are seeing a high percentage for media. So you've seen it either on TV, online, radio ads, etc. On social media, on either Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, and other. So we are seeing a good number of people, and I think we have a good participation. All right. Do you want to share those results, Sad?
All right. Does look like the counselor teacher are doing their job of spreading the word. So that's great to hear for us.
Really good information to know. Okay. So
All
then
right.
the last question we have before we start taking your questions. And this is, where are you in your application? So that you just start the application, that you submit, and you're ready to go and cannot wait to hear the results if you got the scholarship or not? Or are you right now just wanting more information, are still thinking about applying, not really sure? So maybe today will be the day where you get your assurance that this is the thing that you need to do. Or are you here because you're helping somebody and you want to know a little bit more so that you are giving the correct information to the individual that you are helping? So it looks like we have a good number of participations. And right now, 57% of you have already submitted your application. So congratulations, good job. There's many sayings, right? That the early bird gets the worm.
Yes. Yes.
I'm really bad with them. congrats to those that have already applied and those
Yay.
that have started the application. We'll share with you towards the end how to make sure that you are keeping track of your application, where you're at once you've submitted, making sure that it's complete and that you are good to go.
Awesome. Thank you. And just for those who have already submitted, know that you can go in to your application and edit it again until the deadline for the scholarship. So if you need to change something or make an update, you can still do that. All right, so let's get started with why you're here. You have questions. So we have 3 ways. You see a Q&A box at the bottom of the panel. You can enter your question in there. You can also use our chat feature to ask your question. Just type it in there. You can also raise your hand and we'll unmute you so you can ask your question out loud. So many options depending on your comfort level, how you want to ask your questions, but you have us here. We're going to be showing you some of the things we're going to be talking about via our website, because that's where most of our information lives. But Gabby, let's get started. Let's take some of these questions.
Let's do it. And it looks like we have already many questions coming in through the Q&A.
Great.
So the first one is around Arizona, and it says Prop 308 has passed, and I was wondering, will it affect or change anything providing this scholarship? So we are so excited that Prop 308 passed. Congratulations to all of you. I'm sure that some of you were involved in this. We, try to help and put a little grain of salt to make that happen. So we celebrated with our friends at Aliento, ABIC, and others, and of course the institutions. So things have changed. What has changed is that we've actually added more partner colleges to be able to provide more support and help. And so if you go to our website and you look at Arizona, one of the institutions that we have added is Phoenix College, and we have added them back. We've actually worked with them in the past. So we're really excited about being able to provide these opportunities for our undocumented Dreamer students in Arizona. So nothing particularly changes as far as the scholarship or not. The one thing that we are trying to figure out is, will there be aid and other support? Because we also did hear that the incoming governor has allocated or has put in her budget $40 million for scholarships. But of course, this has to pass the legislature first in order for it to happen. And so we're really excited of all the great and amazing things that are happening in Arizona. So hopefully, you can look at one of these institutions and make sure that you apply. All right. So the next question is, does each institution have a cap for recipients? And this is a good one that we get a lot. Sedana, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. So there are some institutions with a cap, and actually we have our director of scholarships on the call with us, Elena Solorio. So I'll actually defer to her on answering this question, Elena, if you're there.
I am. It was in the process of switching me over to this view, so I didn't hear the full question. So Gabby, if you can go ahead and ask that again about the caps.
Sure, yeah. So a student is asking, does each institution have a cap for how many recipients they can get?
They do. So we ask each of our partner colleges to try to have a minimum of 10 scholars per year that they're bringing on, but that is a minimum number. So while I can't say there is a cap to how many they have, it all depends on how many are applying to our scholarship saying they want to attend there. And we can sort of look at the numbers across the board. So that's going to be the majority for, that's going to be the case for the majority of our schools. There are a few schools in Illinois that can only take a limited number. And that number does change every year. So right now we're still working with them to find out what those numbers are, but our goal is for every school to have a minimum of 10.
Thank you, Elena. And I will say the reason we have the minimum of 10 is so that you are not alone when you get on campus, when you get to the institution. So from my own personal experience as a scholar, when I attended Trinity Washington University for the first time, I arrived on campus with about 20 other scholars and recipients of the Dream.Us. So it was very easy for me to get to know these folks, to form a community, to form a club on campus for dreamers. So the reason we have the minimum of 10 is that we want to make sure that you have support, you have a community, you have others, other recipients at the institution too. All right, let's take the next question.
Great. So the next question I see is, I started my application, but I can't submit it because I can't enter the high school I went to. So they're having issues with that. So one of the things that it's really important for you to know is that, as you can see here on the website, Sarana will show you, are the organization that we partner with to process and help us with the application is ISTS. And ISTS both has an email with a customer service that you can ask your questions to, and then also a phone number that you can call, and you have to make sure you save the Dream.Us. But just this is information for everybody. So we're gonna ask Elena to help us with this one because she works really closely with ISTS. But if a person has started their application and is not able to submit it because they're having issue with entering their high school that they went to, what's your recommendation that they should do?
Sure. If the high school that they attended is not in the drop-down list for your state, there is also an option in there that says not in list. And so you would just select not in list, and then it will allow you to type in the name of the school.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elena. So the next question is not necessarily about our application. This is more about DACA. So I'm going to be really quick with it, but it practically says this person has applied for DACA and they stopped accepting before her application can be reviewed. I also got a receipt number, but cannot find it. What should I do? And so right now they are not processing any of the DACA, unfortunately. And what I would say to do is, if you did your application with your attorney, reach out to your attorney. You should have received both your attorney and you a receipt number. And if not, this is something where you would have to contact USCIS to get more information on it. So Ida is asking, what should they do during their waiting period? So Sarana, you applied for this scholarship. While you were waiting, what were you doing during that time that you were, waiting for the information to come through if you got the scholarship or not?
I was manifesting. I was praying and manifesting back in Georgia that this was going to be my ticket to a college education, and it was finally going to get me to opportunities that I'd been dreaming of for a very long time. So I was just sending out good vibes there to the universe that I was going to get chosen for this scholarship.
But knowing you, I think one of the things you were probably doing was researching the head of the institution. So tell us a little bit more about that. What were you doing then?
Yes, Gabby does know me. Yes. So one of the things we definitely recommend you do is research the institution that you're going to, that you pick the partner college. I actually went to the admissions website of Trinity. I found the admissions contact on the website, and I was literally calling her maybe a couple times a week to ask her a lot of questions about college life, moving, that kind of stuff, living on campus, what's covered in the scholarship, what's not covered. I was just very hungry for all the information and just making sure that I was prepared. By the time I manifested that letter, that I was going to be ready to attend Trinity. So we definitely think that you should reach out to those admissions contacts, get all the information. They are there to help you. They're familiar with our program, and you'll learn a lot in the meantime.
Yeah, and one of the things that it's going to be really important for you to do is for you to apply to these institutions that you want to attend and use the scholarship. And so many of these institutions use the Common App, so you have to just do it one and then you're good. And then the other thing is that Sadhana is going to share with you all right now in the chat. There are some states that actually do have state aid. So aside from getting our scholarship, one of the things that we do ask all of our scholars to do is to apply to as many scholarships as possible, and also to apply for state aid, because this helps cover your cost of your tuition and fees. So make sure that if you live in places like Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Virginia, or Washington State, that you apply for your whatever in-state tuition or state aid, sorry, that those states have, and you can contact these institutions and ask them about that information. Okay. So the next question, and we're getting tons of questions. I know that there's 2 raised hands. We'll go to those in a few. So please bear with us. And I do not see any on the chat. So we'll continue on the Q&A. But another question that we got is, I graduated high school outside of the US, so I would like to pursue with the application. So how do you pursue? So Sadhana, do you want to answer? This is for individuals who did not graduate high school in the US or maybe are from outside of the US. What can we tell them about this scholarship?
So I will say that one of the requirements for state aid in certain states, depending on where you are, Muriel, you do have a requirement that you must have attended high school in that state and graduated from high school in that state as a requirement for state aid. Now that's, again, depending on what state you live in. If otherwise there's no requirement for that, I'll probably also get Elena's help in answering this as well.
Sure. So outside of the state aid, it is one of the eligibility criteria pieces. It does state that you have to have graduated from a United States high school. And state aid aside, the reason for that is for undocumented students in most states, there is additional requirements for you to be eligible to receive in-state tuition, which means you had to have attended a high school in that state for so many years and have graduated from that high school in the state. And so that's why we do have the requirement that you had to have graduated from a US high school, just so that there's not any confusion across the board of I graduated outside of the US, and then you apply to the scholarship, you receive it, and then you find out after the fact that you don't qualify for in-state tuition.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would like to add to is that one of the requirements of our scholarship is that you must have been in the US before November 1, 2017, and you must have entered the US before the age of 16. So those are key things that I think it's really important. I know that a lot of people are getting information from the Mexican consulate, for example, or are seeing our videos on Instagram and TikTok and other countries and folks like that. But our scholarship really is for those that have kind of, in essence, grown up in this country and have gone to either high school, gotten their GED here in the US, and now want to continue with their education with a bachelor's degree. So, okay. So, question is, do we have any? Do we have another application to submit after the 28th February one? So I guess what maybe this person is asking, I've applied for the scholarship. I am waiting, it's April and I get my decision. What do I do next? And this is actually a really good, important question. And I'll just answer it. But practically, it's really important that we have your best possible email that you check, because you do have a time limited amount of time that once you receive confirmation that you have been chosen to receive the scholarship, you have to accept it. And so if you don't accept it by the set timeline, then that means to us that you do not want the scholarship. So after you receive confirmation that you have received the scholarship, it's really important that you accept it. So that's a great question. All right, so going on to the next, do I have to commit to my first choice school, or can I choose my second option partner school at the time of choosing. So that's actually a good one too. So let's say, you know, you apply and you say, I want to go to this 4-year university, and then you change your mind after you find out some information. You say you actually want to start at the community college first, do your 2 years there. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit, you know, better for you, and then you want to switch it to the 4-year university. So Elena, what, you know, if somebody was to apply with first choice, but then they actually go with their second choice, what happens then?
As long as it's a partner college still in their state, and they have been accepted to that partner college, and we don't have, it's not one of our small group of schools that have a limit on that, then yes, they would be able to accept the scholarship for that school. The other thing being, if they initially accept the award, say their first choice is where they're going to attend, and then later in the summer, they realize they're actually going to go to that second choice again, as long as it's not one that we had a cap on or anything like that, then yes, they can reach out to us, let us know that, you know, hey, initially I said I'm going to go to Hunter College, but I've decided I'm going to go to Baruch College. And so they can let us know that, and we can make that switch for them.
Great, thank you. All right, so do we want to take the raise hand, Sadhana?
Yes, let's do that. Let's see. We have Ivana. Going to unmute you if you're there. Hi, Ivana. You can ask your question.
Hi. My question was, I currently live in Florida, but my top choice that I would want to go is in Georgia. Would that be possible, or can I only put like if I get the scholarship to my state that I live in currently?
That's a great question, Ivana, and I was actually gonna ask it next because it's also on the Q&A. Elena, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. Because we do have the requirement that you be eligible for in-state tuition, you would only be able to attend a partner college in your state. While we do have our one partner college that is in Georgia is a private university, you would not be able to attend there. While I know in-state tuition at that point, because they are private, doesn't matter. We limit it to just those in the state, because we don't cover room and board at that point. We don't want to set you up for failure of, you know, moving out of state and having to come up with, you know, a way to pay for room and board while you're there, that may cause you to then have to drop out, move back home, things like that. And because there is a very large undocumented population in Georgia, we don't want to remove the ability for somebody from that state to actually get awarded the scholarship because you've taken a spot that they would have been able to go to the school in their state, if that makes sense.
Got it. And if I have another question, do I have to wait for after?
Go ahead. So just because you're on.
Okay, it's quick. I am in the process of getting asylum, but I also submitted a TPS application. So in my application, which one would I put? Because I've been like in the process of the asylum for years.
More than likely, you're probably going to, unfortunately, get your TPS before your asylum, just because they're taking longer and the TPS are processing a lot quicker. So I would say just to put, you know, that you are applying for TPS.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Okay, so we're going to continue with the questions on the Q&A, and we have a ton. So we're going to try to go quickly. So does my guardian annual income determine how much I will get from the scholarship? The answer is no. So it's not really a sliding scale kind of scholarship. It is an up to, but how much income does not determine how much you will get. All right, so how much money does the Dream provide, and how long will the money last? Will it be able to cover all your classes for each semester until you graduate? So the way our scholarship works is that our scholarship is kind of like the Pell Grant. It is a $39,000 for a bachelor's degree. It is a little bit over $8,000 a year. And the institutions that we have chosen, in essence, their rates help, or with their scholarship, you are able to, in essence, pay most of your tuition and fees. Most of our scholars do get their tuitions and fees completely covered. And so that's kind of the way it works. We do suggest, and we want all of our scholars to try to graduate within a certain amount of time. And one of the things that we suggest to all our scholars is that they go full time. Once you get the scholarship, you're going to get a lot more information, and a lot more of these details are going to be become more clear. But it is very difficult to answer this because it is state by state, institution by institution. So just know that this scholarship it's an up to, and that more than likely most of your schooling, your tuition and fees will be covered, but there might be, depending on the institution that you go to, some of the things that need to be covered either by state aid or institutional aid that you will receive. So we have a question, and it's from New York, and they say that the DREAM Act, I was wondering if it would affect the scholarship. So we did talk about making sure that individuals that live and come from certain states apply for state aid. And one of the things that we do ask those that are from New York for you to apply for state aid. So part of the DREAM Act legislation that passed in the state of New York, the Peralta legislation, does provide individuals with state aid. So make sure that you apply for that so that you can get support, so that it covers any gap that you may have between what our scholarship covers and any other things that is not covered. Okay, so Sadhana, let's continue. And for the Q&A, we have one question that says, I'm from Florida. My question is, if I need an immigration document like political asylum, approved, green card, or to be a U.S. citizen? This is a good question. This scholarship is not for those who have green cards or U.S. citizenship. This scholarship is for those who are undocumented. So this means that you don't have immigration status in this country. Either you could have DACA or TPS, or be fully undocumented, but you must meet our immigration eligibility criteria, which states that you must have come to the U.S. before November 1, 2017, and before the age of 16. Now, if you are in immigration process, for example, you are working on a U visa or asylum, for example, you are eligible to apply for a scholarship. But the minute that you receive your green card and you have access to Pell Grants and other aid, that's when the scholarship is no longer going to be available for you. So do apply if you are a dreamer or undocumented, but this scholarship, it is not for those who have green cards or U.S. citizenship. All right, so one question is that people are always asking themselves is, how do we get selected? How do people who apply to the scholarship get selected? So maybe we can go into the application process and what is being asked in the application.
Yes, absolutely. And as you all know, the essays are no longer a part of the process. So that was usually the part where you sort of get to tell your story a little bit and explain a little bit more about your circumstances. And we've removed that from this round. So how are we choosing the awardees? So we are looking at first of all, to make sure you meet that eligibility criteria. So I'm going to scroll right here to this page, first of all, to make sure that you do meet every single one through 7 of the eligibility criteria. And then particularly number 5, we're going to look at your GPA to make sure that your GPA is 2.5 or better. Unfortunately, if your GPA is under 2.5, you are eliminated from this round, and you will not be in consideration. But we then move on to the very important section of the application, which is your extracurricular activities, your volunteer experience, and your home responsibilities. So how we look at those is we kind of do a rating and we give you a score based on the things that you're able to do outside of high school or outside of college. So any kind of extracurricular activities, volunteering that you've done, home responsibilities. What that means is we know that sometimes you're not able to play sports or do any of the traditional extracurriculars, but we do know that sometimes for undocumented students, folks like us in our position, sometimes we're the translator for the family. Sometimes we're the one who is putting together official documents or, putting the forms together and stuff for our parents. Maybe you're the driver in your family. Maybe you are able to take, go grocery shopping, take your parents to work, that kind of stuff. Maybe you look after your younger siblings. Maybe you are a caretaker for your younger siblings, or maybe you even have grandparents that you're a caretaker for. So any of these responsibilities that you do, outside of school, outside of work, we definitely want to hear that from you. And that's where we're looking at that, and we're giving you a score and rating you based on that. Elena, is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it.
Great.
So there are some questions that were around that, and make sure that you put in as much information as you can on your extracurricular activities, community service. And for those of you that have been out of high school for a period of time, and for example, volunteer at your church or your local community organizations, make sure you add that. Those things are also, they count. And of course, we will be looking at that and giving points for that. Now, another question is about students that either have college credits already or are dual enrollment students. So we love dual enrollment students because many of you already come with either an associate's degree or many college credits, and that is incredible that you're already graduating high school with that. And so we don't really count, that against you. It's actually beneficial for you. And then the other thing is that one of the things that changed in our application this year is that we used to have a limit of how many college credits you could have to be able to apply. That's been eliminated. So the most important thing when we look at and why we started the scholarship was to really help and support individuals that didn't have the resources to pay for school. So if you are a student that today finds themselves paying a college credit at a time, taking a class at a time, or have been really struggling to pay for your school and are thinking that you might not be able to continue your college education, this is the scholarship for you. So today, if you have any number of credits, 10, 15, 20, 30, it doesn't matter. You can apply for a scholarship. And if you're a community college graduate, you got your associate's degree and want to continue and finish your bachelor's degree, this is also the scholarship for you. So we just one of the things that we do ask is that if you do have resources, you have a way to pay for school, then, do not apply for this, because this really is for those who have financial needs. Okay, so on my scholarship application, should I say I have not applied for DACA? So there will be some criterias there. Having DACA or having applied for DACA is not something that we are looking at, but you must meet this immigration eligibility criteria. So you can just put, whatever that section is for you. All right, so another question is, I started my application, but I can't update my transcript that has all my finished grades from community college. So this is a good one for Elena. And so for anybody that's having any issues with their application, what do you suggest that they do, Elena?
Reach out to ISTS with their questions. There is in the application, a lot of times, depending if their chat feature is available in there, as long as, it's within sort of working hours, there's somebody there that's available to answer those questions. If not, there is also some other information in there where they can, find some sort of FAQs in the application. Click on that, see if that might answer your question. Otherwise, reach out to ISTS either through the email address or through their phone number. As far as that specific question goes, if this is your first semester in a community college, then yes, like the spring semester being your first one, you're not going to have that transcript yet. So you have not actually earned credits yet. So you want to make sure that you actually answer the question in the application based on whether you have truly earned those credits or not. If you earned credits this past fall and that was your first semester, then you should actually have access to those grades already to where you would be able to upload that transcript. And if not, I would reach out to your school to find out when those grades are going to be available. The fact that our deadline is not until February 28th, you should definitely have those grades by then if they haven't gotten them into the system already. So for that particular question, since I don't know the full answer to it, that's just kind of an overall arching answer to that question, I hope.
Yes, that was perfect. Thank you. And I just want to go rapid response and then we can do the raise hand, Sedona.
And I also want to just jump in to let everyone know, if you put a question in the Q&A, we are answering some of those as well that are not out loud. So if you go to the answered tab in the Q&A, my colleagues Hayne, Chris, and also Elena have been responding to some of your questions there too. So check that answered tab in the Q&A as well.
Beautiful. And so just really quickly before we take another live question, just want to reiterate that this scholarship only works at the institutions we have partnerships with. So make sure that you go and look at this. If you are applying, for example, to go to Harvard University, well, Harvard University is not a partner college of the Dream.Us, and so you will not be able to use that money there. You can only use it at the institutions that we have partnership with, and here Sedona is showing you on the screen which those are. The other thing is that, yes, you must be eligible for in-state tuition, and that's back to Elena's answer when somebody was asking, well, I'm from Florida, I want to go to school in Georgia. That's not the way this scholarship works. You must be able to get in-state tuition at one of their partner colleges. And one of the things that I did want to add is that we do have an online option, and there is an institution called Purdue Global, where if you, for example, live in a really far place in the state of Florida, you live in North Florida in Pensacola, and there's no institutions there, and you don't have the means to move down to Miami to go to school there, this is an option for you. So do look into Purdue Global. They do have selected number of degrees, so make sure that before you apply, that the degree that you want to seek is one that this institution has. So I'll take it over to you now, Saad, for the raise hand.
All right, great. And thank you very much for your patience with us. We have a lot of questions coming in, which is great. I think the next raised hand I see is Silvana. So if you're there, Silvana, I'm going to unmute you and you can now ask your question out loud.
Hello?
Yes, so we can hear you.
Yeah, hi. Okay, so I would like to apply for the scholarship, but I have some questions. I came here to the United States November 2017. So I am able to apply. I think it was October.
So you must have gotten to the US before November 1, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You also must have come before the age of 16, so 15 and under. And there is some other things that you must meet, like, for example, Sedona talked about the 2.5 GPA, must have graduated from a US high school, received a GED, and be eligible for in-state tuition at the state. But here's the eligibility Sadana is showing you. If you meet that, then you are eligible to apply.
I have graduated from a community college already. So right now I am in 4-year college, Baruch College. So I already did 1 semester. I think I have 2 semesters left or 3. So can I apply for that?
If you have significant unmet financial need, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvana.
All right, should we go back to the Q&A or take another raised hand?
Yeah, let's do Q&A. And I kind of lost my spot where we are.
Sure, let's see where we are. Let's see.
I think I wanted to answer. So somebody was asking about applying for FAFSA. So
Okay.
if you are undocumented, you are not eligible for FAFSA. And this is the federal financial aid that the federal government provides. And my suggestion to you is that if they're telling you to fill this out, even if you have a social security number, so there are individuals that are undocumented, maybe you have DACA or TPS and have a social security number, and they're telling you, oh, with that number you can apply. I would be very, very careful because individuals who are not residents or United States citizens are not eligible to apply for this. And you can get in trouble if you apply pretending to be a U.S. citizen or resident. So be careful with that form. All right.
All right, there is a question that came in that says, I'm a current college student at Florida Atlantic. Is the Opportunity Scholarship available to college students that are currently enrolled? So I think you're talking about 2 different things. So let's go over again. So for the Opportunity Scholarship, it's only awarded to students that are in these 23 states, which we call locked out states. And Florida is not considered a locked out state. So if you're already in Florida at Florida Atlantic, you would be applying to the National Scholarship. So I hope that makes sense. Next question, and yes, we're going to keep going so that we answer as many of your questions as possible. Let's see. I'm living in Texas, border with Mexico. My local Texas A&M is not on the list, and I can't cross the checkpoint for my status. Is the only option to take Purdue online?
Yes. So if you live in Texas and we don't have a partner institution there, which we do have one if you are in El Paso, or if you are in the Rio Grande area, we do have 2 institutions there. Those would be the ones that you would apply. But if you're saying that you live in an area where you have to leave and go through a checkpoint, then I would say yes, Purdue Global would be the option for you if you wanted to look at an online school. Okay. Do you want to continue, Sad, going through the questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Good afternoon. Are we able to know the number of applicants that are usually accepted for this scholarship? Yes, so usually in every round of the scholarship, so the scholarship opens November 1st every year, we usually take about 1,000 awardees. So out of the pool of applicants that we get, we usually award 1,000 students with the national scholarship. However, this round, due to generous donors and generous donations, we do have enough funding for about 1,400, is that correct, Gabby? About 1,400 national scholars. So that means this round we are awarding more than we usually do. So your chances are a little bit higher at getting selected this round. All right, next question. Are you able to see if my application is good to go? Okay, so after you've submitted your application, it's good to go on your end. What happens next is ISTS then verifies all of the information and verifies that your transcripts are indeed uploaded. And that's when you'll move from submitted to a completed status. So the way to track that, so after you finish with the application, you submit, don't forget about it. Just go into the application again. You'll be able to check the status of it. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you right here on the sidebar. There's the National Scholarship Application Guide. It's a PDF document. And basically this guide was put together to outline everything about the scholarship that you kind of follow step by step. So all of the things that we've been showing you about the criteria, about the dates, all of that on the website is in this document, as well as how to track the information once you have submitted it. So after you submit, you're monitoring the status of your application. So you're seeing if like your transcript was probably rejected or denied, you can go in and upload it again. You're seeing if anything else is required that maybe you forgot, you can check it again. And then you'll see when it's completed. And that's done on the ISTS side. So that's kind of how you keep track of if your application is good to go. Once you see completed, then you can just sit back and wait. All right, let's see. Another question is, okay, questions about GED. So what is GED score in the application? So GED is for those folks that did not complete traditional high school. So you didn't attend high school throughout and get a diploma. So you're able to take classes and get a GED certification. We do accept those in lieu of a high school diploma. A question is asking, Tanya is still asking, does a GED count for state aid in Illinois? And I'm going to ask Elena if she's familiar with that.
Unfortunately, I am not familiar or have an answer actually to that question. I'm not sure if it's high school graduates only or if GED would count.
And this is a really good question to ask the institution that you are interested in attending. Usually the financial aid or admissions will be able to give you that information. And what we do know is that the legislation that has passed in Illinois does ask for at least 3 years of high school. But I'm not sure there's an equivalent to the GED, but that's a good question to reach out to in the schools.
Great. All right, we have another question. I'm from Florida. I applied for the scholarship, but I'm in a 4-year university with more than 90 credits. Would I still be able to get the scholarship? So yes, we no longer have a credit limit for the national scholarship this round. So you can be at any stage in college and you can still apply to get the scholarship. Now, as Gabby mentioned earlier, the thing you must show is significant financial need. So if you have maybe other financial aid or you have other scholarships or other aid that's already covering your completion of your bachelor's degree, you may not be awarded our scholarship, but you can definitely apply to finish that bachelor's degree. Next question, does the scholarship cover summer semester? We cover summer semester for certain of the partner colleges. So not all of them on the list, but once you become a scholar, you'll get that list of the partner colleges where we do cover summer courses. All right, let's see what's next.
And I do want to let everybody know that it looks like this has been really needed. There's been a lot of questions. We've had really good engagement. And so we are coming up to the hour. And so we're going to try to answer as many of your questions as possible. But I think, Sarana, if you agree with me and team that is with us, we will probably try to do another one of these soon before the opportunity round closes and the national round closes to make sure that we're answering all of your questions. So please be on the lookout. We'll send you another email with another date to do one of these. And just we want to make sure that you know that ISTS is there to answer your questions. You can email them, you can call them as long as it's during the working hours to make sure that you get
Yep.
your questions answered.
Yep, and we have the information for ISTS everywhere. So it's all on our site. And then again, I'm in this application guide. It's also here and in multiple places as well.
Great. So let's take one more question from one of the race participants, the raise hands participants.
All right, great. So it looks like we have, and I'm sorry that I won't be able to pronounce your name, Oluwambe Funmi. I will unmute you so you're able to ask your question. And sorry for butchering your name. You can ask your question.
Hi. I have a question. My question is that the thing is, I came here like December 17th, 2017, and I was less than 16 years old. Am I still eligible for the scholarship, the national scholarship?
Yeah, unfortunately, you are not, because you must have come before the age of 16 and also before November 1, 2017. One of the things that we want to make sure that you also know is that there are other scholarships available. There is a great tool that Immigrants Rising, an organization that we work really closely with as well, has put together. And we suggest that you look at that, and everybody that's on it, actually, you know, the more scholarships you can apply to, the better. And this is a really cool tool that has all these different types of big and small scholarships for undocumented people, no matter if they have DACA or TPS or their immigration status.
I'm going to put this link of the Immigrants Rising list in the chat for everyone.
Yeah,
So definitely check that out.
Yeah, Hayne did that.
Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you, Hayne. And also to the questions in the Q&A that we got about other scholarships, as we mentioned, yes, you can apply to as many other scholarships as you can. We totally encourage that. That's completely up to you. And we, again, encourage you to apply for state aid if you live in one of those states.
I also just saw in the Q&A to the person who asked the question about state aid in Illinois, Ana Jimenez actually provided a link in the Q&A. So if you want to go find that, it gives all the information about the RISE Act in Illinois. Thank you, Anna.
Great. Awesome. So I guess we are a little bit out of time, Gabby.
We are, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to our team, to Hayne, Elena, and Chris who are with us. TheDream.Us is made out of incredible individuals that are passionate and really, really want to see every single one of you succeed. And every single one of our partner colleges does have scholar advisors, individual people that work with our scholars. And as Sarana mentioned at the beginning, we do have a minimum requirement of at least 10 students that will be getting the scholarship. There's some institutions like the University of Houston that sometimes get 80, 90 students at once. But we want to tell you that once you apply for this scholarship, you are going to join and be part of a community, of a family. And we're going to ensure that we are doing our best that we can to take good care of you. We believe in you. We believe in your dreams, and our donors and our founders and every single one that works at TheDream.Us wants to see you succeed. And so we're really proud that you have taken the step to apply to the scholarship. Make sure that you are taking good care of yourselves, and that if you have any questions, that you please reach out to ISTS. You have their email, you have their phone number, but you also have us. And so we hope to see you again soon. We'll make sure to get an email out to every single one of you with the next Q&A that we'll post for this. And last thing, please, please, please share this information with others. You might never know whose life you're going to change by providing this information to somebody. And if your high school counselor does not know about this, let them know. If you're part of a group at a church or an organization, please share this information out, because we want to help as many people as possible. And as Sarana said, we have a goal of providing 1,400 scholarships this year for the national and over 100 for the opportunity. So please help us get to that goal. And I hope one of you or all of you are also going to be joining us from being applicants to one-day scholars. Sarana, is there anything else you want to say?
I would say thank you so much for making the effort to come here with us, spend the hour with us. As Gabby said, keep watching your emails. We're going to be sending you more invitations for events like this to answer your questions. We want to help you become a scholar, as Gabby said. So thank you so much. I've put the link to the guide in the chat as well. So I hope everyone can grab that, and you can also get it off our website. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.